A new opinion poll shows that people on both sides of the Atlantic disapprove of providing stronger military support to insurgents in Syria. A bilateral poll conducted by British research firm YouGov shows that Americans and Britons are deeply skeptical about the idea of arming insurgents in Syria. The study also shows that people in the US and in Britain are against proposals to put boots on the ground in the country. In both categories, Britons overtook the Americans in opposing foreign military interference in Syria. This comes as British Premier David Cameron and French President François Hollande have failed to persuade the EU to lift its arms embargo against insurgents in Syria. The blog has warned that sending weapons to anti-Damascus armed groups may have negative consequences. Saeb Shaath is an author and Middle East expert, and he joins us from Belfast to give us his thoughts on this. Saeb Shaath, if you were to give the results of this poll to the French President and the UK Prime Minister, obviously I don't think that's going to make a difference, but shouldn't it make a difference because this is taxpayers' money that is paying for their involvement in this war on Syria?
Yeah, it should make a difference that if they were really true democracies and they listened to their public opinion and their people. We have experience during the voting for Palestine in the United Nations. The same was public opinion, 80% in the UK and France, mainly behind the Palestinians, and their governments, as we've seen, went and didn't support the Palestinians in the United Nations. Those two countries, if I want to focus on France and Britain specifically, they are the ones who's going to against their own public opinion, against even the EU, and they want to arm and support the insurgency in Syria. And why all of that? If we remember, them two countries in 1916, they have the Sykes-Picot Agreement, and they used the Arabs of Arabia to, under the leadership of Lawrence of Arabia at the time, their Secret Service, British Secret Service officer, and they called it an Arab revolt against the Islamic Khalifa in Istanbul, and they caused mayhem and chaos. And these people surrendered the Arab world and the Arab nation to the British and the French colonization. They rewarded them and gave them east of Palestine as Kingdom of Jordan now, for the Hashemite who came from Arabia, and the same thing, the other part of Palestine for the Zionists, for the Israelis, who they expelled from Europe. And the same thing after they divided the Arab world into 21 countries and influence colonized by the French and the British. Today they are doing the same thing. They want to re-amend the Sykes-Picot 1 to a Sykes-Picot 2 with the same help of the same people who came from Arabia, the Saudis, the Qataris, and then now they want to destroy Syria. It doesn't fit their plan as before. They want to redefine the area within religious, sectarian, ethnical, and resources and geopolitical sort of borderlines. That's why they don't listen to anyone. The United States of America, Barack Obama visiting Tel Aviv in there and insulting the Palestinians and insulting the whole world as well in his support to the Jewish entity and mending the relationship between Israel and Turkey. It's all preparing the ground for more vicious actions, which Israel and Turkey will be involved in against Syria to finish the Sykes-Picot plan and to prepare it for a final execution.
And quickly, Saeb Shaath, I'm sure you have heard that there are many citizens of Europe, and we can mention both France and UK in this picture, of which are going, of what they're disillusioned by fighting a holy war in Syria, yet they come back to their countries and they're more extreme. Aren't they worried that this type of push to arm the insurgents is going to backfire when you have their own citizens going to Syria, coming back and perhaps staging and making their country insecure?
Those people always, they provided London mainly and the parts of France as well as safe haven for all of this radical clerics and radical Takfiri groups who were active in the 60s and 70s in Egypt, and suddenly they transferred them to Afghanistan, and we know what followed. That's during the 70s. and they always looked after, and there was always an unholy alliance between them and the Western intelligence agencies. And those people, they know, and they are coordinating highly with the British and the French authorities and what they are carrying. So the British knows who they are in there and who they are bringing back. The only, they will be worried about radicalization of Islamic population in the UK. And I'm not worried about that myself, but the British sort of authority would love to see that, since that can increase the levels of Islamophobia in here and make the people hate Muslim and put Muslim in the context which they want to.
Very well. Thank you very much. It's good talking to you. Author and Middle East expert there, Saeb Shaath from Belfast.